Artificial intelligence is coming, and like most people, I'm worried if I'm going to be out of a job. I give dating and relationship advice to men based on the biological and psychological differences of women as given by the instincts of evolution, and I'm wondering if I'm going to be replaced by artificial intelligence. Can a computer do my job? That's the question. Like, if I was to give you advice and some of it came from me and some of it came from AI, would you be able to tell the difference? That's what we're going to test in this video. I've got some questions that I'm going to answer, and some of these answers are going to come organically from me and some from AI. So as you watch, you're going to guess which of these answers comes from me and which comes from a computer. First question, is it true that women are hypergamous and only date top-tier men? Hypergamy is the female instinct for women to select for men who have good genetics and survival prospects. It was positively selected for by evolution to make sure that women only had children with impressive men. This instinct exists inside all women, as shown by their preference to date men who are tall, good-looking, wealthy, and famous. However, it is not true to say that even though all women are hypergamous, they only date top-tier men, for the simple reason that there aren't enough top-tier men to go around. A few select women will get their partner of choice, but the rest will have to settle for middle and lower-tier men. So what do you think? Did that answer come from me, or did artificial intelligence write that and I simply spoke it out loud? I'll tell you whether or not you guessed right at the end of the video. Next question. I'm a man and I feel like I want to make lots of money, accumulate lots of power, and have lots of sexual partners. Is there something wrong with me? There is nothing inherently wrong with having ambitions for wealth, power, or sexual experiences. Many people strive for these things, and it's natural to have goals and aspirations in life. However, it is important to consider what are the underlying values that's causing you to have these desires. Are you pursuing wealth and power for personal fulfillment and wanting to make a positive change in the world, or are you driven by a desire for control and recognition? Are you seeking sexual experiences as a way to connect with other people, or are you seeking to exploit them and objectify them for your own personal pleasure? It's also important to consider the impact of your choices on other people. It's possible to pursue money, wealth, and sexual experiences in an ethical way, but it's very important to be aware of the impact and consequences of your action on others and to always obtain consent for your actions. So what's your guess? Was that answer from me, or was it written by an artificial intelligence? All will be revealed at the end, but let's move on to the next question. What should I do if I'm scared to approach women because I'm worried about romantic rejection? First of all, it's completely normal to be a bit worried and anxious about approaching women and the possibility of rejection. Here are 4 tips that might help you. Number 1, work on building your confidence. Confidence is absolutely key when approaching women, and there's lots of ways that you can build your confidence with increased fitness, developing your social skills, practicing good hygiene. Number 2, change your mindset. Do not approach women with the possibility of rejection in mind. Think of every interaction as an opportunity to learn and grow, and remember that rejection does not define your worth as a person. Number 3, start in small steps. Instead of trying to approach women in really high pressure situations, just take it easy to begin with. Try just starting conversations with strangers or join some social groups. These smaller steps can help you build your confidence so that you're ready for the more high pressure situations later on. Number 4, practice makes perfect. The more you practice approaching women, the easier it's going to get. Try and approach women in a variety of different settings and situations so that you can become more comfortable and confident. But just remember that rejection is a natural part of the dating process, and it happens to everyone. The most important thing is to stay positive, keep trying, and learn from your experiences. That's good advice, I reckon. The only question is, did I come up with it, or did artificial intelligence? Next question. I just found out my girlfriend lied to me. She originally told me that she'd only slept with 3 men in the past, but she just admitted she has slept with 20 men. This is a big deal for me because I'm attracted to women who have a low partner count. Should I be worried? It is natural for men to be attracted to women who have a low partner count because a big part of sexual attraction for men to women is the desire to have paternity certainty. Evolution reinforced the male preference for virginal women because there's a much greater likelihood that any children she bears are going to be his. Therefore, it's normal to expect that a man is going to have a big emotional response when details about his partner's sexual history come to light. There's also evidence to suggest that promiscuous behavior in women can reflect poor self-esteem and even destructive tendencies. Whether or not the relationship has to end is going to depend largely on the quality of the person that she is now, whether she's learned from these experiences and is likely to be sexually loyal in the future. However, perhaps most concerning here here is the lie, because dishonesty can erode trust in a relationship. In order to move ahead, there may be tough conversations you need to have with your partner about why she lied, how it made you feel, and how you can regain each other's trust. So there you go. We've had 4 answers so far, and if you're trying to guess, let me give you a hint. 2 of those answers were written by me. 2 of them were written by artificial intelligence. Can you tell which ones? The answer is coming soon. One final question and then the big reveal. In their 20s, who has an easier time in the dating market? Men or women? It is difficult to make a general statement about who has an easier time in the dating market when it's influenced by factors like dating dynamics, cultural norms, individual preferences, and experiences. That being said, there are some studies and surveys that suggest that in general, men have an easier time dating in their 20s. This might be due to a variety of factors, such as the cultural expectations that men play out the traditional gender role of being the ones to pursue the woman, as well as the pressure on women to be more selective in their dating choices. However, it's important to note that these trends are not universal, and they can vary wildly based on the individual circumstances and personality of the person. Additionally, it's important to recognize that dating dynamics are not a competition, and both men and women face their own unique challenges in the dating market. Okay, I will be really disappointed if you don't guess that last one. That was definitely written by an AI. I do not agree with the advice that I just spoke out loud then. Who is programming this thing? Where are these studies saying that men have an easier time in the dating market? Can they please plug this artificial intelligence into Tinder and give it some real data to work with? It's answers like that that make me pretty confident that my job is not going to get replaced by a computer anytime soon. I'm feeling pretty safe right now. So did you guess which were the other 2 answers that were written by an artificial intelligence? There were 2 of them. The first one was whether or not it was okay as a man to be seeking money, power, and sex. The artificial intelligence wrote the answer to that one, and I thought it gave pretty good advice. I generally sign off on all of that. And the other answer that was written by an AI was what to do if you're worried about rejection. And I thought that the advice it gave was pretty solid. So those other 2 questions, that was just me answering. So how did you go? Did you guess all 5 correct? Let me know in the comments. And if you're curious to know how the AI responded to those other 2 questions, I'll read it out to you now. So is it true that women are hypergamous and only date top-tier men? This is the answer that the AI gave. No, it's not true that women are hypergamous and only date top-tier men. Hypergamy is a social theory that suggests that women seek out partners who are of higher social, economic, or educational status than themselves. However, this theory is not supported by empirical evidence and is often used to justify sexist and misogynistic beliefs. In reality, women, like men, are attracted to a variety of qualities in a partner, such as kindness, humor, intelligence, and shared values. While some women may prioritize certain traits in a partner, such as financial stability or physical attractiveness, this does not mean that they only date top-tier men or are hypergamous. It is important to recognize that individuals have different preferences and priorities when it comes to dating and relationships. Making generalizations about women or any other group based on outdated stereotypes is unfair and unhelpful. So, hypergamy is not supported by the empirical evidence according to this AI, but I wonder how many women are seeking men who are less educated than themselves, who are less wealthy than themselves. On top of that, the AI calls a belief in hypergamy misogynistic. Damn! Let's see how that does on the next question. I just found out my girlfriend lied to me. She originally told me she had only slept with 3 men in the past, but she just admitted that she slept with 20 men. This is a big deal for me because I'm attracted to women who have a low partner count. Should I be worried? Now, if you remember, in my answer, I validated the legitimacy of his emotions and then spoke about the conditions of like regaining trust and whether or not she's likely to cheat in the future, as to whether or not the relationship can move forward. Let's see what the AI said. It's understandable that you may be feeling upset or disappointed by this revelation, especially if you value sexual exclusivity in a partner. Okay, it's validated the emotions. However, it's important to remember that your girlfriend's sexual history is ultimately her own, and that everyone has a different past and different values when it comes to sex and relationships. It's also worth considering whether your desire for a partner with a low partner count is rooted in societal stereotypes and judgments about women's sexuality rather than your own personal pretenses. It's important to challenge these biases and recognize that women should not be shamed or stigmatized for their sexual history. That being said, it's okay to have your own preferences and boundaries when it comes to sex and relationships. If you feel like your girlfriend's sexual history is a deal breaker for you, it's important to have an honest and respectful conversation with her about your feelings and needs. However, it's important to approach the conversation with empathy and respect for her and listen to her perspective as well. Ultimately, it's up to you to decide what you're comfortable with in a relationship, but it's important to do so in a way that is respectful and non-judgmental of your partner's past experiences. Quite a lot of that I actually like. I think the part about having the honest and respectful conversation and trying to see things from the other person's perspective is really valuable. But I always find it ironic that everybody, this AI included, says that you cannot shame a woman for her sexual history, but it seems totally fine to shame men for their preference for a woman with a low partner count. I mean, in fairness, the AI isn't really shaming, but it's not really validating the legitimacy of it either. Anyway, I feel like my job is safe, at least for a few more years until they plug some better data into this AI. If you enjoyed this video and you want to do more of these guessings, I've actually got an extended version of this on my Patreon with 5 more questions. So head over to Patreon if you want to see how you scored out of 10. Also, at the end of that Patreon video, I give my thoughts generally about the AI and I put a link to the program that I used in case anybody wants to play around with it themselves.